This is the Word made flesh, and I'm reading from Genesis 1 and looking at God's creative process. Okay. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty, darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Now, when I sit down and I think about this part of the Bible, I start to ask myself this question. So if God had created it, how come there's void? And then I realize that God used one of the greatest gifts that He's given to us, which is His imagination. Which then means that in His imagination, He created. And from this aspect, I learned that creation happens twice. First in the mind. Now, immediately after God created, there was disruption, right? Because now there was void, there was darkness. And in all of this, God was thinking, because the next thing it says was that He hovered. So He was brooding, He was thinking, if I put this here and I put that there and I put this here and I put that there, then it will bring this particular outcome, because God had a vision. I mean, before all of this, God had a vision of what He was going to do, right? So my question is, what is your vision? And how are you creating in your imagination? And then follow me here, because I've written down a lot of things. I might just share a few so that you can, sit down and learn it from the way that I learned it. But for me, I'm a very visual learner. And so I'm going to teach you in the way that I had to understand this chapter. And so after God had created all this stuff in His imagination, what was the next thing He did? He spoke, right? The Bible says, and God said, let there be light, and then there was light, right? God said it, and it was. And God saw the light was good, and He separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. So here God put structure. There was dividing of things, and He put structure. So imagination, which is creation, disruption, which was the void, hovering, which was Him brooding, and then speaking. So it's not enough to just create in your mind. It's not enough to think about it. It's not enough for things to start to shift towards making it happening. There also has to be a speaking. Let's just follow God's creative process. I mean, if you followed it, what do you think would eventually happen for you? And so we now had night, day, sea, land. He went through all of that. Then He got to a point where after He had created creation, right? He created creation, which was land, water. He then said, let the land produce vegetation. God didn't create vegetation. He delegated the land to do that. How powerful is that? So delegation is part of the creative process. If you're not delegating, then you're not acting like God. Then He said, let the land produce vegetation, plants bearing seed according to their kind. So God also added automation, because the seed has now been placed in its kind to keep reproducing its seed, which then means that reproduction was also put into place at this time. So the seed of the apple is put in the apple so that more apples can come out. God didn't have to create anything again, and that's why I mentioned automation, because He put everything in automation. And then, like I said, there was reproduction. And then God saw that it was good. What is that? Celebration. When was the last time you celebrated anything you did? Most of us are always looking at doing the next thing, achieving the next thing, going for the next goal. And then, you do your PhD, then you do your master's, then you do your mistress, then all the things that you are achieving and achieving and achieving, but never stopping to say, what I've done is good. So there's a celebration process, and God put it here so that we will know how to create, right? Then he said, let us, after he had created creation, then he created creatures, then it was time for him to create creative creators. And he said, let us. What does that mean? Teamwork. Yes, God didn't do it by himself. He called all his angels and said, let us now do this together. Do you have teams that you work with? Do you know that the same Bible says one will take 1,000 and two will take 10,000? Why? That's multiplication times 10x, not small multiplication, right? Because leveraging. So what you can do by yourself, if you join forces with the right people, you can do it much, much more. Okay? And so then God said, let them have dominion. So he gave you what? Dominion. He said, let it, let me go back to it and read from it. Okay? Yes. So now I'm going to go a little bit into 2 and also teach from there. But the whole idea of what I'm sharing is how God created. God created everything that we needed. And maybe I'll end here. God created everything that we needed in the way that we should do it. And then God rested. You know, we have this statement, when I die, I will rest. God didn't have to die to rest. And God wasn't tired to rest. God didn't need to rest because He's Spirit. Yes? But He put it there so that we can know that it's part of the creative process. Resting is part of the creative process. When was the last time you rested without feeling guilty? When? So I have all the points that I've shared. Think about it and ask yourself, do I use this process when I'm creating anything? And if not, go back to Genesis 1 and see how God put all the things there for us to learn, for us to create in His way, because He created us in His likeness and His image. And so if God is a creator, so are you. This is the Word made flesh.